Viewers, we will now be playing the Presidential Correspondents Dinner, featuring Richard Nixon. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, your MC for the night, Richard Pryor! Wow, wow, wow. Woo! That's my guy. That's my guy. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, Americans of all kinds, and the Democrats, it is my greatest honor to be here in front of you in the 11th Annual Presidential Correspondents Dinner. Over the past 7 years, this nation has truly experienced one of the most influential characters in history. President Nixon has not only motivated our nation, but the world as well. After finally being elected as president, President Nixon changed the face of the planet dramatically. Being true to his word, Nixon worked to improve the situation in Vietnam by launching the historical peace accords in Paris in 1973. This hard-working individual worked day and night to end this disastrous war and save the lives of thousands of Americans. Some of the most acclaimed achievements during Nixon's career came from his quest of achieving world stability. During his 1972 visit to Beijing and Moscow, Nixon worked to reduce tensions with China and the Soviet Union. In his summit meeting with the Russian leader Leonid I, Nixon created one of the most hallmark decisions of the détente of the Cold War during this time. He allowed the Cold War to die down and ultimately created peace. Nixon also had a meeting in Vietnam where he accomplished nothing. Moving on, Nixon influenced all three branches of the federal government, as he had the opportunity to not only appoint one great justice, but four great justices in the United Supreme Court system. This includes Chief Justice Warren Burger. War is right. Nixon thought of himself as such a dominant figure in society that he declared war on virtually everything. For instance, in 1971, Nixon even declared war on cancer. Yup, he spent $100 million on trying to find a cure on cancer. However, tonight's not only composed of Nixon's most accomplished moments, as it also includes Nixon's most, watery moments. We'll digress on that later on. Nixon was a man of many talents. He helped everyone in this nation. Nixon finally abolished the Voter Discriminatory Acts by extending the Voter Rights Act in 1970. This is why I, your MC of the night, am here, standing right in front of you and not in the back of the room. So, without further ado, let's get this dinner party, or whatever this thing is, started. May I now present to you, William Rogers.
Thank you, MC. Alright, unfortunately tonight we will not be getting our appetizer of bread since I negotiated with the USSR and traded all of our grain for salt, or the Strategic Armaments Limitation Treaty. Another great news, we will now recognize China as the People's Republic of China, but what I like to call them, Commieland. Alright, I hate to jinx ourselves, but it seems that me and my amazing team's foreign policies are going to bring an end to the Cold War. Show of hands, how does everybody feel about Nixon running for president for the next term? Alright, hopefully you only raise your hand or put a thumbs up or down, because we know how the Brazilians feel about putting the OK symbol in the air. Isn't that right, Mr. President? Gotcha. If you're anything like me or my colleagues, who doesn't love to do things in secrecy? It's always fun finishing the war in the Middle East with some allies like Israel, but who doesn't like oil? I mean, come on. It's even more fun, though, to send the CIA over to the Middle East and Africa to do some covert missions, am I right? But in all seriousness, we should try to be a little more open. If you recall, we did start to pay more attention to the environmental issues caused by the Cold War and started the OES. I hope this speech doesn't make you want to leave as fast as Dixie Lee Ray did when she was appointed commissioner. Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, is Carl Bernstein.
Hello, I'm Carl Bernstein, a reporter for the Washington Post. Most of you already know that I'm responsible for uncovering the truth about the Watergate scandal. But I'm sure, Mr. President, you want me to keep this water under the bridge. Back in 1972, several burglars were caught attempting to steal secret documents and wiretap phones from the Watergate building in D.C. Our president destroyed evidence and acquired hush money to acquit these burglars. This chaos was linked to Nixon's re-election campaign, and he even attempted to hinder the FBI's investigation with the help of the CIA. I received all of this information from Deep Throat, an anonymous source whose name shall remain unknown. This informant provided my partner and I with multiple pieces of incriminating evidence against the president. And now, Nixon is resigning before the House of Representatives can impeach him. All right, Mr. President, it was obvious you tried to keep the Watergate closed, but clearly all the information flooded out. I'm aware this scandal isn't the best way to end your career, Mr. Nixon, but the American people needed to know. Many Americans felt this scandal stripped them of their freedom and inspired newfound feelings of cynical distrust towards the federal government. The fact that the president attempted to use the CIA to impede on the FBI's investigation is an abuse of presidential power and a deliberate obstruction of justice. Great job, President Nixon. You succeeded in adding further disappointment in the national climate that's already been embittered by the difficulties and losses of the past decade.
And next, we have Ted Kennedy.
Alright, it's great to be here at the White House Correspondents Dinner. I'm excited to be here. I'm happy to invite you, Mr. President. However, I hope you're not recording this. Also, Nixon, I hope you rethink your decision on universal health care and the fact that the federal government probably should pay for it. You know what? Thank you, Nixon. I rate you 5 out of 10. You're an okay president. Here we go.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call my homeboy up, President Richard Nixon.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, American, Democrats, Republicans, it is my greatest honor to be here in front of you. Before I start, I just want to check if anyone in the press is secretly recording us. I don't want to lose yet another election.
That's a good one.
I've had many ups and downs during my time here, such as Watergate, but now that's water under the bridge. You all may think of me as a bad president after that horrible scandal, but I agree my judgment was not the best during parts of the presidency, and I wish I could take that back. I will and am devoting myself to gain my trust and reputation back with the American people with numerous amount of books that I will publish. Even with this scandal, I have created this country into a better place. My cabinet and I have worked hard to launch initiatives to fight cancer and the war on drugs in the United States. Also, we helped work with NASA to launch the Apollo 11. Here today, I should thank you for being such a great president and ending the huge controversy known as the Cold War. No, but seriously, I did a lot. Initially known as the Guam Doctrine, but better known as the Nixon Doctrine.
Yeah.
This great law affirmed my desire to withdraw our troops from Asia. Why should we fight for another country? They should bear their own responsibility for their own security. Today, during my presidency, I helped with foreign relation with China, a country that we have not communicated with for a long time. We started to recognize them as a country and open up trade with them. My accomplishments in China will lead to more prosperity in the United States due to trade. As well as I helped with the foreign relation with the Soviet Union, one of the United States' largest rivals. During my term, I signed the Arms Treaty with the Soviet Union, also known as the SALT Treaty, putting limits on the amount of weapons both of us can manufacture for defense. I also bettered our foreign policy in the Middle East to deepen our ties with the Arab countries. Now, there will never be conflict in the Middle East in the future. Work diligently with Congress in order to grant authority to consolidate federal aid programs to our states and cities. Ultimately, making sure that you, the American citizens, are getting all the federal aid you need.
Woo!
Some of my other important attributions include making the U.S. Postal Service and declaring the rather infamous Environmental Protection Agency. Go environment.
Woo! Yeah.
At the end, I did learn how to use the TV. I finally advocated my ideas on national broadcasting channels. And hey, I got all my ideas passed in Congress. In conclusion, it's been tremendous 2 terms, and I appreciate the American people being on my side. So remember, if you have to vote for anything watery in the future, vote in my favor